Here's a question that a lot of new massage therapists will ask advanced massage therapists. So, especially people in massage schools will ask their instructors this kind of question: how much money can you really make? So, with that question, there's so many things that can be variables with it. So, it depends on where you're living. So, let's say California, you might charge a lot more compared to more of the Midwest area. So, graphically, things can change with that. And it all depends on your skill level too. So if your skill level, you're more advanced, you can typically charge more and more options and more different types of massages you're going to offer then. And if you're going to live in a big city compared to a smaller city, so the suburbs usually are like $5 to $10 difference than the big cities surrounding it then, in general. And if you work in if you work out of your house, some people will even charge even a little bit less than that. So again, not everybody's going to charge less, but some people will, because people are going to the spas and salons for the atmosphere, so that's why they're charging so much more too. And with excuse me, with commission, it's usually 50% commission, but I've seen it as low as even 35% commission the therapist is getting. But you got to realize with that commission, you have to have taxes taken out of that too. So let's say let's say a $60 an hour massage, you're getting $30 of that. Then plus you have to take taxes out of that too. Then, and a typical massage therapist for a week is going to give 20 to maybe 25 hours of actual massage during that time. So let's say 20 hours of massage during that time. It's typically $15 an hour you're making. So again, $15 an hour you're making for 40 hours of being there, compared to, again, 20 hours of actual massage. So I know some places it can be different too, but that's kind of the ratio that you want to use and how much you could typically earn then with that. So again, you're going to have to take taxes on that, so it might be $11, $12 an hour that you're averaging instead of 15. But then you got to look at tips. But my opinion is never rely on tips, just to be safe, because whenever you get tips, it's always a great thing. But if you don't, and if you expect it, it's going to destroy you then. And some people's belief is the more fancy area that you're working, the less likely you're going to get tips. And the areas that are kind of average, you might get a little bit more tips. So that's kind of true in some instances. So again, people that are really rich tend to hold on their money a little bit longer too, and people that are average tend to spend a little bit more freely. And here's some scenarios I'll give you. Let's say on a 50-week basis, you'll be 20 hours a week. That's what your average of actual massage. And we're just going to say we're going to charge $60 each. So for 20 hours of actual massage a week for 50 weeks, that averages out to be $60,000 that you'd be making. Then you got to factor in supplies and everything else, so it's going to be a lot less than that, of course. But let's say you're going to be working for somebody, and that's what you're going to be charging then, is $60 an hour, and you don't have to pay rent. So that's ideal. That might not happen, but you just never know with those kind of instances. So let's say it's just $50 that you're getting for each massage, and 20 hours a week of actual massage then in a 50-week period. That's $50,000 that you'd be making then. Let's go to a few other scenarios, and I'll put a link in the sidebar. I got a show me the money page, so it gives you many different kind of avenues of what you can typically make. So let's say you're charging, somebody's going to charge you $400 a month for rent for 50 weeks. And for 20 hours of actual massage a week, you're going to average about $55,000 or so. So that's where you're going to be averaging. So it's cutting out about $5,000 compared to not paying rent on the scenario before then. Let's give another scenario. Let's say 30% commission on 50 weeks. So 20 hours of actual massage during that time. And let's see. So I'm just going to charge $55. Let's give that kind of scenario. So 20 hours, 30% commission you're getting. So the place is getting 70% commission, and that averages out to be around $16,000 a year. So that's not enough to really live on these days. But again, it all depends on what area you're living in, the states. But again, most places it's hard to survive off of that then. And let's say $10 an hour. Excuse me, $10 an hour. That's what you're getting paid. So for 40 hours a week that you're there, so even if you're not massaging, you're still getting $10 a week. Let's see, you'll be making about $20,000. That's how much you'd be making in that year if you're just getting $10 an hour. Now $15 an hour you're guaranteed for 40 hours a week. For 50 weeks you'd be making $30,000. So that's enough to live on in certain areas. And $20 an hour for 50 weeks. That's again 40 hours of just being there, and some massages probably or whatever. But if you're getting $20 an hour, you're going to be making $40,000 a week, and that's getting a lot better and more acceptable then. So those are some kind of scenarios. And I myself, one place that I worked in the past, I was getting 75% commission, but it was mostly on call, so that was that scenario. And another option, I paid, excuse me, I paid $100 a month, so right off the top of the bat, and then I got then I got 60% commission whatever I massaged then. So that's pretty good ratio, but the business owner just wanted some money up front just to guarantee that I'm going to be there too. That's the main reason that they did the $100 up front. So that's another option. And some people will even rent by the day. So just like with cosmetologists they typically will rent a chair for the day, and some massage places I've seen doing that now too. So maybe $20, $30, or $40 a day, but whatever let's say you give many massages during that day, you have to again pay that $40, but anything over that is yours to keep. But again, you have to pay taxes on those areas too then. So I gave you many different scenarios, and what you want to do is when you're negotiating a price, put many different scenarios, like 3 or 4 different options, and give it to the employer or a prospective employer if you're going to negotiate those kind of things, and give like 3 or 4 different options and have them choose what do you think would be more beneficial. But make sure you can live with all those different 4 then too. So because if you can't live with a couple of them and they pick it, how are you going to survive then? So that's my word of advice for pricing for massage, and leave your comments in the section below. Thank you.